Heyo, welcome back to another video, and in this one we are talking about episode Aigis and overall just the expansion pass for Persona 3 Reload. Now you're probably wondering about the title and the thumbnail. Let me explain that first. I think everyone is already understanding of what I mean by episode Aigis was announced, but it's mainly because of the expansion pass this is tied to. The expansion pass is kinda silly, kinda dumb. There are a few things that they could have done to make it more appetizing for people to actually come back and play the game. Because this is kind of set up like a battle pass, kind of like they're experimenting if they should do this in the next Persona game. With costumes and BGMs, they probably shouldn't do this specifically, again, just because no one's returning to this game for that specific reason. Now, I'm still playing the game currently, which my next video is going to be a progress update, so stay tuned for that. It's tempting to get this only because, I'm still playing the game. I could probably get the one that's releasing in March, but is it worth it? Probably not. So I'm just kind of baffled that they chose this, because what they could have done to keep player retention going for the game, especially since this is a single player game, Wave 2 should be just Femc. Wave 1 maybe the costumes, but Femc probably should have been in this. But obviously what the developer talk that they had about this DLC is that initially Persona 3 Reloaded was supposed to include the answer with inside it, but obviously they said that they had ran into complications when developing the game, which they ended up just cutting it entirely, which luckily there's a lot of fan outcry to actually make it, into fruition, the DLC. Now this could just be a marketing lie to be like, oh, we were thinking about it. We definitely weren't thinking about releasing Persona 3 Reload again, but Persona 3 Reloaded as a remaster treat. I'm just kind of happy that it's a DLC and not so much a full-on release that's another $70, because $70 is a big price considering games are not $60 anymore, which really stinks. But regardless to say, I'm more so happy that they're trying to implement this instead of doing what they've been doing for the past 10-20 years and re-releasing a new version of the game. But then again, they kind of already did that with SMT5 recently. Well, I'll give the game the excuse that it's coming to new platforms, but it's still in the Atlas bloodline to do Atlas things. But SMT5 needed improvements anyways, considering that it was not very favorable when it came out. So hopefully with the changes they do make, it actually makes it more better for current SMT players and even maybe Persona fans. Yeah, Persona fans are not buying the SMT5. I mean, what? They can't handle it. Regardless, from what we got from the trailer, it does look pretty good. I'd like more DLC for this game. I hope the DLC is well received to potentially get maybe an episode C's that has the origins of, the C's group with Mitsuru, Colonel Sanders, and Shinji. So it's just a waiting game if they do that, but they said this is pretty much the finale of the game, so I really doubt we're getting that, because I really, really would have loved an episode Elizabeth because of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Now, if you haven't beaten Persona 3 Reload and you're watching this video, episode Aigis is a continuation of the story and puts a closure to it to an extent. And it wasn't really favorable, especially in 2007, without really getting into spoilers. And they're intending to make fixes, but basically there's another continuation with Persona 4 Arena and Arena Ultimax, where Elizabeth basically wants to do something to help, but it basically is such a big cliffhanger that they never elaborated on. Like, what did Elizabeth mean by this? Spoilers, warning now, because to me that would be an ultimate closure to the game, and especially to be able to play as Elizabeth. That'd be amazing. Just to nuke enemies and shadows and, whatever that potential final boss might be, ... I presume that they're trying to put as much effort into Persona 6 as possible right now. So I'm going to assume that this is actually the only DLC we are ever going to get for Persona 3 Reload that is a story expansion. I would have loved more in-depth things to be had here, but you can only hope for the best. But at the end of the day, this is a remake of the original Persona 3 with Fez elements, along with finally putting the answer/episode Aigis in it. So with that all being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and who knows, maybe if there's enough feedback within, the community to get more DLC for Persona 3, it could potentially happen. 4-story DLC, but it's really doubtful, and I'm not sure how many people would actually want that, to pay another $35 for another expansion pass, which, again, in itself is a bit ridiculous. I just wish there was more content to justify $35 than it just being $35. Overall, if this is separate from the DLC, because Alice tends to price their things at $8 for their skins and BGMs, this really should have been a $25 DLC, in my opinion, but they could have charged easily more. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.